Hello everyone, my name is Jadine and this is my dream that I want to share with you. God sent me this dream a few years ago and I shared it with a couple of people. I shared it with a couple of pastors and I've tried to share this message to churches and unfortunately I didn't get the best opportunity to share this with everyone. And so I thought the best way to do it is to do it on the internet, as the internet is the one thing that can reach all people around the world fast. And I thought that it would be the best way to do it. The reason why I'm sharing this with you today and not when it happened is because I recently just had a dream 2 days ago about preparation. And this really made me realize that I have to do it and I have to do it now. I'm so sorry guys, I'm so nervous. This is my first video that I've ever made. Please bear with me as I try and share this message with you and try and share this dream with you. Please, I know that a lot of people will be able to relate to me, as I know that a lot of people have been having similar dreams, and I know that some people will reject this message and may persecute me for trying to share this message with you all. Please be patient with me. Please try and listen to what I'm trying to say to you. It is a warning. I don't know when Jesus is going to come. I don't know the time. I don't know the day. I don't know the year. But I know that it is soon. And I want to share this with you before it's too late. Firstly, before I start, I would like to share a scripture with you. And this is relevant to my dream, and so I would like to share it with you right now. It is a Bible verse from Acts chapter 2, verse 17 to 21, and I'm reading from NIV version. In the last days, God says, I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your sons and daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions. Your old men will dream dreams. Even on my servants, both men and women, I will pour out my spirit in those days, and they will prophesy. I will show wonders in the heavens above, and signs on the earth below, blood and fire and billows of smoke. The sun will be turned to darkness and the moon to blood before the coming of the great and glorious day of the Lord. And everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. So, I'm going to read the dream out to you all. I've written it down for you as soon as it happened, so bear with me. I am going to read the dream from the page that I've written it on. So, I had this dream on the 13th of March 2015, and it was the day the world was coming to an end. So I will read what I've written. Please bear with me, and I hope that you will be able to visualize the dream that I had and be able to understand what it means. I don't have the best interpretation of my own dream yet. I have prayed about it, and God is yet to reveal the right interpretation to me. So, this dream consists of 2 separate days, and so I will read from the start to finish, and I will add in things that I remembered clearly from this dream that I haven't written down. So, I'll start to write and read now. On the first day, it was a normal day and everyone was doing what they were supposed to be doing. School, work, uni. I was with my friend, my boyfriend, in this dream, spending the day together when I suddenly felt this sickening feeling in my gut that something was wrong, like something wasn't right, like something was going to happen. For some reason, I felt like the world was coming to an end. So I told my boyfriend, and he didn't believe me. And at that time, I didn't think that it was the last time that we were going to be on this earth, in this world. That was the last time that I may ever see him. Suddenly, something happened. It was like a blink of an eye, like something I just missed in a couple of seconds. And I can't explain the feeling. It was almost like a flash, a blink of an eye. It was quick. And suddenly it skipped to the second part, to the second day of my dream. The second day. My environment changed within seconds, almost within a blink of an eye. I looked around me and I discovered I was almost stranded with a whole bunch of people who looked just as lost as I did. I looked ahead of me and I was by the ocean. It looked like a beach. And what looked like to be a torn up house and a torn up metal building in the middle of the ocean. And all it had was just its shelter that was gleaming at me. It looked like tin. It looked like metal. So, as I looked around me, as I looked up, there were dark clouds. It looked like a storm was about to start, and we were going to soon be covered in complete darkness. It was about to start. It was very unsettling, an eerie sort of atmosphere, which almost made you feel sick and drew fear into everyone who was there and around the ocean. We were standing on a bank, and everyone was scattered everywhere. All of a sudden, we all see this wave, average in size, but still quite big. It was coming straight towards us, towering over the torn-up house that was in the middle of the ocean. This was the first tsunami. It hit us, and after it did, I looked around and no one was dead. It was just the environment around us that completely changed and was destroyed. Buildings, houses, just everything was falling apart, which drew more fear into everyone. This is when everyone started to panic and people were saying it is the end of the world and the world is coming to an end. Some agreed and some disagreed. While everyone was arguing, we suddenly saw this paddle boat, which could only fit one person in it. It was floating in the middle of the water. It was strange, and everyone shouted for the person to get out of the water, as there might be another tsunami. The person was covered in a dark blue sheet, and all you could see was the figure of the person, which seemed small in size. Now this boat was like a canoe. It could only fit one person in it. And when you see this person, it was like someone put a sheet over their head and you couldn't see any features. You could just see the shape of the head and the body. And this person was still sitting in the boat, wasn't moving, wasn't saying a word. The person never turned around. It was just quiet and sitting in the boat. Everyone around us just stopped and looked. Anyways, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous, I'm shaking. I don't know how to do this, but I'm trying the best that I can. Please bear with me. Then, before our eyes, was an African child, looked to be around 5 or 6 years old. This child was a girl, and the child came up to us to tell us that the world was coming to an end, and that he is coming, referring to Jesus. She said, "God sent me to tell you this," and then suddenly disappeared, and everyone was startled. Then became a division, a very strong division between people who believed and people who didn't. Some knew that Jesus was coming, so they started to pray, and as they did, we were surrounded by complete darkness. Others stood and watched. I didn't know how to feel. I was just shocked and overwhelmed at what just happened. Just turning to a page. Then I suddenly ended up in this empty room overlooking the water. Now this was before we were just on the sand, on a bank, um, overlooking the ocean, kind of like a normal beach. And suddenly it was like I was on the top of a hill in this wooden room that was empty. And there was no door, just a big window with 3 tiny windows above it. They were all shut. No way to get out. I was by myself in this room, and I was scared and I was lonely, and I didn't know how I got here and how I was going to get out. Looking through the window, you could see the conditions were getting worse, and people were standing watching the shore, almost waiting for this to happen. I look around me, and there was 2 other people with me in this room, which I was shocked as I didn't see it when I first got into the room. There was an old lady, mid-aged lady, probably around her 40s, and she was praying. And she was in one corner of the room, and she was crouched down, and she was scared. She never spoke to us, she just prayed. She was strong in her faith, almost asking God why she didn't go to heaven, wondering why she was here, why she was left behind, because she thought that she did everything right. She thought she did everything wrong. Sorry, right. And that she did nothing wrong. There was another girl sitting next to her who kept trying to assure us that everything was going to be okay and that we need to calm down. She had lollies. She was young in age, probably about 14. She handed some lollies to me to keep me down, to keep me calm, and to calm down. But I put it in my pocket. I didn't want to eat it. I didn't know if it was evil. I didn't know if it was good. I just put it in my pocket and I accepted what she was giving me. All of a sudden, I get this vision. As I'm standing in this room, I get this vision of buildings falling all over the country and possibly all over the world. Buildings falling, people around work disappearing, people at the gym. I saw Jet's gym, people on their cycles and on the treadmills, suddenly being raptured, being lifted into the sky. Others were shocked, others didn't know what was happening, where people were going. It was like chaos. It was like someone just took people away, like someone was kidnapping people in front of their eyes and there was nothing that they could do about it. This made me realize that this was extremely real, that this is actually happening, and that we need to wake up and realize where we are, and that I need to wake up and realize where I am, and that I need to do something about it. Then we all stop, and as we see the second tsunami out of the window, it was gigantic, massive, absolutely huge. I can't even describe how big this wave was. It was so big that everyone around me knew that we could not survive this, that we could never survive this wave. If it had to hit us, it would not be like the first one that we will all die. The ones who believed began to pray frantically, pray to God that they would save them, trying to repent for their sins. The atmosphere was almost choking. The darkness was closing in the sky so quickly. The air in around us, it was like the air was escaping, like there was no gravity anymore, like there was no air for us to breathe. It was so choking. It was closing in on us. It was heavy on our chest. It was coming. The wave was coming so fast, causing everyone to panic. Everyone was running around. Everyone was screaming. Everyone was praying. And I saw it. I saw it before my eyes. I was terrified. I was shaking, just as I am right now. I was shaking and I was so fearful. At that moment, I began to pray the Lord's Prayer. I'm not sure if many of you know the Lord's Prayer, but I began to pray that. I prayed so fast, at the pace that the wave was coming. I didn't know if I was gonna finish in time. I just started praying because at that moment I realized that in this dream I was looking at everyone and I was trying to save, almost save everyone, and I didn't think about myself at that moment. Until this moment, when I was seeing the wave coming, I realized that I was in this dream for so long and I didn't pray and I didn't repent. And so I started to pray frantically. And as I was praying, just coming to the end of the Lord's Prayer, it hit me. The wave hit us all. I never got to finish my prayer. My heart was broken. I was so scared and so fearful as to what was going to happen to me. I was too late. I felt like something was ripped out inside of me. I felt like I should have been closer to God when I had the chance, that I should have done all the right things, that I should have made things right with God when I had the chance. I was so disappointed in myself. I wished I had someone I knew to die with me. I felt so alone. I felt like everyone I knew, including my boyfriend, which wasn't even Christian, I felt like everyone was taken to heaven except for me. And I felt just heartbroken at that moment. And I felt like time was just slowing down and that I didn't even have much time at all. I was drowning. As I was thinking these things, I was drowning. I looked around me while I was underwater, and all I saw was floating bodies and lost souls. The water was green. It was musky. It was dark green. I could barely see much. but I could see floating bodies. I could see souls just lifeless. I could see bones floating around. It was too late. It was too late for me to save myself, and it was too late for me to save others. I had no idea where I was going, if I was going to heaven or I was going to hell. I was gasping for my breath. I was gasping. I couldn't breathe. I was running out of breath. I felt myself running out of breath and I couldn't save myself. And I was choking. And all of a sudden, time stopped and I died. I died in my dream. You don't die in your dreams. I died while I was in my dream. And I saw almost a tunnel, but I couldn't see where I was going. I could see light, but I didn't know if I was going towards the light or going away from the light. All of a sudden, I woke up. I woke up, I was covered in sweat. I was shaking. I woke up and I actually thought I died. When I realized it was all a dream, I was absolutely terrified. I didn't know what to do, who to tell. All I did was I sat in my bed and I was terrified and I was shaking and I was crying. I actually thought I died. But then suddenly, 20 minutes later, I was actually happy. I was happy because I realized that God gave me a second chance and that I now have the chance to become close to God again. That I have a chance to share this message with everyone in the world who watches this. When I was in the room, the empty room, overlooking the bank, overlooking the water, overlooking the tin house, there was people all below me, and they were scattered everywhere. But as I was looking out of the window, every person looked up, and they looked up to me, and they looked disappointed. They looked at me and they looked at me as if you had the chance to save me and you didn't. And that I felt responsible for all of the lives that were in that bank, that were on the bank, that were on the beach. I felt responsible for everyone who was around me, that I could have saved them when I had the chance, and I didn't. And so the reason why I'm sharing this dream with you all is because I have the chance now. I have the chance now to share this dream with you because this is what I'm called to do. And God has given me this dream to share with you all. Let me just say this before I end. I am not the most religious person. I have a family that is all Christian and they're all religious. I was brought up in a Christian family, been to church every Sunday, but I was never a religious person. I felt like I was a complete no one, and I still do. I feel like I'm nobody. I'm no one special. I'm not a pastor. I'm not someone who is so close with God that God can give me this dream. No, I'm not. I'm someone who has had a very hard life, has been through absolutely everything and anything, and I felt like there was no purpose. That there was no purpose to my life, that I was just here on earth to be in constant pain and struggle. And God gave me this dream because I've been through so much that maybe people will be able to relate to me. They'll be able to understand from someone who's been through so much. And one day I will share my life story with you all. But for now, this dream is so important. I've looked on the internet and I've seen people having the same similar dreams to me about the waves, about tsunamis, about water. It is so hard for me to share this dream with you right now. I'm still shaking. I'm nervous. I don't know what to say, but I'm just pouring my heart out. And I'm trying to reach people right now that don't know God. I'm trying to reach people that do know God and that think that they have all the time in the world to make it right with God. Well, I'm so sorry to say that we're running out of time. I don't know when, but I feel like in my heart, in my spirit, I feel like there's an urgency to get this message to people all over the world, because I have a feeling that there's not much time left. I may be right, I may be wrong. No one knows the day or the time that God is coming, that Jesus is coming back. But I know that there's not much time left. Right now, as I watch the news, right now, as I look around me, I feel like the world is just going mad. That we don't even know what's happening anymore. I feel like the weather is changing. That time is just going so fast that we just can't even keep track of it anymore. And 2 days ago, as I mentioned, I had another dream. And this dream of mine, I was in a hurry. I was rushing like I've never rushed before. And in person, in my normal day-to-day life, I'm not a person who rushes. I like to take my time when I do anything. I like to give myself a couple of hours to get ready before work because I hate to rush. And in this dream, I was rushing. I was rushing around like a headless chicken. And as I was trying to see what I was doing, it seemed to be plates full of orange dark slime. And I was passing these plates to the sky. I was passing these plates of orange looking slime that were on this big table, a very long table. And there were plates full of this orange slime. I can't describe it. It looked kind of like fruit, kind of like squash, like pumpkin almost. And I was passing it to the sky, almost like to the heavens. And it was just me, I was just by myself, and I was just passing it up to the sky. I felt like I was passing it to someone who was so big. I couldn't see features, I couldn't see a face, I couldn't see what the figure was actually like. I can't describe it, but I was passing it to someone who was taking it from me. And as I was passing one of the plates, I looked into the plate very carefully to try and see what I was passing to God. And as I was passing it to the heavens, this dark orange slime was turning to gold. And it was like gold liquid that I was passing to the heavens. Like there was a huge table that I was passing it from, that it was almost like an angel or God was taking it from me and was preparing these dishes of liquid gold on another big table. And I was also passing a scooter filled, it was just a normal old looking scooter. The scooters that you used to ride when you were a kid. The silver scooter. And I was passing also, along with the plates, a scooter that had pieces of wood and pieces of bones, and I was passing it to God, and I was passing it to this majestic figure in the sky which I couldn't see, like I said. And it was almost like I was passing broken bones and broken pieces of wood to God, almost to repair. And I was passing these branches and passing these bones, and it was like this majestic being was telling me, pass it all to me quickly so I can repair it, so that I can make it new, and pass these bowls full of liquid so I can prepare something for a big lot of people. And I feel like I was in a rush because I felt like we were running out of time and we didn't have much time to prepare this, almost like a meal, almost like a dinner, or prepare for something. It was like we were preparing for something. And ever since I had this dream 2 years ago, I've been trying to tell people about my dream. I've told my family, I've told some of my friends. And I've tried to tell pastors before, and I've tried to tell them that we should start talking about the end times in church and start preaching about it, but they said they weren't ready. They said it's not the right time. And I became disheartened. I became disappointed. And I thought, well, no one wants to hear my dream. No one is taking me seriously. And I prayed to God, and I told God that I've tried. I told God I've tried and no one wants to hear me out. No one is taking me seriously. And I asked God to show me a sign as to when I should share this dream. A sign so relevant, a sign that as soon as He gives me the sign, I'll know straight away I have to share this dream, and I have to share it now. And so after that small dream that I had 2 days ago, I felt like God was saying, prepare, prepare, and do it fast, because it was almost like time was running out. And so as I share this dream with you, and as I have shared this message with you, I don't know if this will reach everyone in the world. I don't know if this will reach churches, if it will reach people who are in need of this. But please, take me seriously, because this is not a joke. I'm not making this so that I can become famous or that I could get recognition for this dream. This dream comes from God. I've prayed about it, and I know that this is from Him. When you have dreams, normally you can't remember it the next day. But 2 years ago, I had this dream, and I can still remember it so clearly. And I know that, it's not the whole lot of what's probably going to happen. This is just a warning. This is a warning that God's given me to share to you all. I don't know what's going to happen in the last days, but I feel like the end is coming soon and that we have no time. That we have no time to waste. And my prayer to you all is to please repent. Please ask for forgiveness, and please make things right with God. Make your relationship with God right. Start to praise Him, start to worship Him, start to take Him seriously before it's too late. And even in this dream, I didn't have the time to make things right. And so, even as you are making things right with God, so am I. Because, like I said, I'm not religious. I've been to church. I know who God is. But I've drifted away from God many times. And even as this is a warning to you, this is also another warning to me. And as I feel like things in this world is becoming so chaotic, right now I feel like everyone needs to take a step back and start to make things right with God. Because my question to you is, if God comes tomorrow, if Jesus, Son of God, comes tomorrow, what would you do? What would you do? Would you know? If you died tomorrow, would you know where you're going? Would you know that yes, I'm going to heaven, or if I'm going to hell? Would you know? And my prayer to you all is to make things right with God, so that you yourself will know that yes, I've done everything that I possibly could. That I've surrendered my life, I've surrendered my heart and soul to God, and that I've done everything that I possibly could. And if I have to face Him tomorrow, that I will face Him and know that I've done everything that I possibly could. And so, as I close, my prayer to you all is that you'll be able to know God before it's too late. Thank you so much for bearing with me as I did this video. I'm still nervous, I'm still shaking, but I'm glad that I've tried, and I've tried my best to share this message with you all. And whatever you do with this dream, whatever you do with this message is up to you. My part in this is to share it with you all. And I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to do this now. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. I hope you have a blessed day, and I hope that in some way or another, after this video, God will reveal Himself to you in ways that you could have never imagined, and that He will share His love with you, His unconditional love with you. So thank you.